back to Straight Facts. It's Wednesday. Joined today, of course, by Don Husam. LB is here with us. He switched his day yesterday because he was busy. I don't know what he's busy doing. Doesn't need to tell me, but he was busy yesterday. Mo's on holiday. So the boys are here with us. We've got an action-packed show to go through today as we look ahead to the Manchester derby and why I think City are in a little bit of a crisis here. And we'll explain why on the show. Is Isak ready to shine as he now joins up with his Liverpool team? We're talking about Arsenal. Their first game back is against, of course, the new manager bounce potential of Big Ange and Nottingham Forest. We are also going to be touching straight away on the situation with David Coote, who has now been formally charged. We're going to break down what's gone on, give our sort of takes on that scenario and the PGMOL at large. But gentlemen, how are you both? You both well and good?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
always
great,
good, bro.
man. Big up to everyone in the chat. Make sure you guys are liking, make sure you guys are subscribing. LB, this is the Wednesday show. I always speak first. You get me? That's the rules on the Wednesday show. I always speak first, innit? Big up everyone in the chat. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. LB is joining today. You get me? Usually Mo is here to give me a headache. I think this is gonna be a cool show for once. I don't have to spend the whole fucking stream fighting. So yeah, Mo can hold that.
Yeah, less Habibis. And what's the other word you two say to each other a lot? I think it means calm down.
Ya akhi, habibi.
Yeah.
All
show.
A lot of words.
I'm watching them argue, LB, during the shows. I'm learning Arabic real time.
Oh, I know. Tell me about it. I've been in this situation before, innit? Yalla, innit? Is it yalla? Let's go.
Yalla.
It's great, man. It's great. But obviously, starting the show with a very, very serious talking point, which I think would be neglectful in many ways to discuss, because about this time last year, David Coote was center of massive discussions and debates. Of course, he was caught on video calling Jurgen Klopp a see you next Tuesday, or he maybe said that. Yeah, I think he said that on camera, if I'm not mistaken. There was obviously then a lot of stories that emerged about cocaine fueled parties that he was arranging whilst on duty. There was then talk of illegal and unsolicited sexual activity like on his phone. But that was kind of shut down by a lot of media outlets and people as it's a rumor. But today, if people are not aware, David Coote has officially been charged by the CPS here in the United Kingdom. And just to break down exactly what they've said, because I don't want to misrepresent the news here at all, David Coote has been charged with... Where's all the information gone? Why can't I find it in front of me? It's ridiculous. He's been charged with... Sorry. The former Premier League David Coote has been charged that he made one indecent video of a child in Category A on the 2nd of January 2020. So this is a 5 getting to a 6-year-old incident. Category A is considered the most serious category and typically shows young children being abused by adults. So it's exceedingly serious, graphic, and nasty. Not that all types are not serious, but obviously they put their categories for this because there are severities within, and it falls in there. So it turns out that what were sort of Twitter rumors, and I do remember somebody sharing the news and they got lambasted and attacked. I don't remember who he was, but it turns out that this is potentially true because he's been charged and he's got to have his day in court. But along with everything else, and by the way, the situation with Klopp is the least of his crimes. You know, calling Klopp a see you next Tuesday doesn't compare to having sort of cocaine fueled parties and this horrific act that he's been charged with. But this went on a long time ago. It makes you wonder why more investigations, more due diligence wasn't done. Why at the time of his incident were so many media outlets, so many ex-pro players, why were so many people no more talk about David Coote? They shut it down, nothing else to see. He's been suspended, he's lost his job, just let him go. It all seems, just maybe I'm being a bit sensitive as a father, but I feel like the whole thing stinks, if I'm being absolutely honest. I'll hand it over to you boys.
I think this is absolutely disgusting, to be honest with you. When I read this news this morning, someone sent it to me, and I looked at it and I was like, there's no fucking way. Like the whole Klopp incident is like nothing compared to this. This is all serious things that he deserves to be punished for. This is absolutely disgusting, to be honest with you. And like the problem is, this is a very sensitive topic, and it's stuff like this. Like it pisses me off when someone's like in the public eye, basically week in, week out in the Premier League, and he's doing stuff like this. So it's absolutely disgusting. I do agree that there needs to be like, you know, more due diligence, and, you know, maybe like the referee association, you know, looking into these things a bit more so we can avoid, you know, future incidents like this. And the whole club thing is just, it's just nothing. It's nothing compared to this. So I think it's absolutely disgusting, to be honest with you. And if he's found guilty, I hope he gets a severe punishment, because this is stuff involving children is just absolutely disgusting, to be honest with you. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I don't know what else to say, because this is just like, this is completely mad. And this goes to the people as well who were kind of like defending David Coote when the whole incident came out, like, oh, he lost his job, let him be now. You know, that's why you don't defend people without knowing whole stories and whole ideas and whole concepts of what the type of person are. So yeah, I actually, like, I'm actually speechless, and if he's found guilty, I hope he gets a severe punishment.
Yeah, same here. The guy who's committing these sort of crimes got to be locked up in it for a long time, man. Like, I agree with what Husam's saying, man. Like, that's it. I don't really think anyone would have a different opinion in it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just is what it is.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, I don't see anyone would defend it. No, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like, did the FA know? Did the Premier League know? I don't know. I've not seen the shit. You know what I mean? I haven't seen it on my stream before I come on here. I literally popped up on my Twitter, so I don't even know that fully who knew. If and I'm just speculating, I don't know this yet, but if the Premier League knew that this was going on at the time we was refereeing, then I think they need to be looked at as well, because, you know what I mean? But I don't know if that's a thing. Like I said, I've only just seen it. So yeah, I'll assume the Premier League didn't know. And then you'd be like, fairs. Obviously, they don't know what they don't know. But if the Premier League knew this, then that's fucked, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there's
I don't know. Did they know this or not?
No, I agree. Listen, my view is this: they may not have done. I mean, maybe not the Premier League, the PGMOL that are his employers, not the Premier League. They may have had no idea. Some will say, well, how could they know? It's his private life. It's things he's doing behind the scenes. The only thing that sticks in my mind is that about a year ago, I remember just seeing tweets and just seeing things trend. Oh, there's reports he's done this. Some people are saying that they know that he's been up to no good on his phone and everything. And my view is this: if people knew then did the PGMOL know? It turns out all of the parties he was trying to arrange and the drug taking and the misdemeanors, all these things were quite. A lot of people said they knew about this, but nobody really cared about it, if that makes sense. And that's the only fear I've got. So I'm not making any accusations and saying they definitely knew. I'm stating I'm worried that they did. And I'm saying I'm worried that they did because we saw this at football clubs. Not to get into too fine a detail, but in many top level clubs in England covered up decades of this stuff. So we've seen it before in our game. And for me, what I think would be the most appropriate thing to do is to have a widespread, and I called for this when it was just about potential cheating and the grudges that referees held, and, you know, are they unbiased? I was calling for something similar then, but this is a much more serious issue. If I was the PGMOL, I would just open up the books, allow a complete and utter investigation to show we knew nothing. We do the due diligence. We follow the right processes. We do our checks, because there's only a certain amount of checks you can do at the end of the day. Like, if you can do like the checks to make sure someone doesn't have a record of it. But if they've never been caught, they're not going to have a record of it. I think they should open up and allow it to happen. I think the Premier League and the FA should push them into doing that, so that we know there hasn't been any covering up of, you know, just imagine this scenario. This is purely hypothetical, but halfway through 2020, the PGMOL gets sent a message saying that this may have happened, or X, Y have happened. These images may have been circulated. There's a rumor that this referee has done this. There's a rumor this person has done that. Imagine it turns out they just buried it. Now that changes this whole entire story. So I'm not suggesting that's happened, but with the amount of covering up of other things they do, there's just this little bell in the back of my head saying, guys, if you've done nothing wrong here, open up the books, let everyone come in, let the investigations happen, because this is beyond football. This is massively serious. And I ask, and there'll be people that get angry about this, but I don't care, because it's for the protection of children and children and other minors that work in our sports. This has happened in football before, where widespread, decade-long cases were absolutely covered up. And this is different in the sense of that was like players, like young kids at the clubs who were being groomed by the coaches. But at the same time, we need to, I think football deserves to know, did you know anything? If so, why didn't you take any action? If you didn't, then fair enough. But that's the only thing I would say they should do, is open up the book. So just so we know 100% to be sure. Because the only thing standing out to me, boys, is how quickly they tried shutting down the conversation on him before. Like, no, nothing to see here. That's the only bit. And maybe, as I say, maybe as a dad, I'm being a little bit sensitive and a little bit overreactionary on it. But yeah, a sad day, a sad and horrible day. First of all, for the victim, whoever that poor young child is, but a bad day for football altogether. And look, it will be given a fair trial and everything else. But if found guilty, I hope he gets everything that's coming his way. If guilty, I really, really do. Let's have a look at some of your comments that have come through here. Big up Terry, Husam, and LB. Hope you are well. Thank you, Patrick.
Big up, Patty.
A lot. Patrick also says, I'm not a fan of the PGMOL, but only reasoning I can think is that they were told by legal representatives that they dismiss him and move on because it may affect any further investigations, especially cases of this nature. Look, they may come out and say we were made aware this time last year of this scenario, but we were requested by the CPS to make no comment on it. We helped as much as we can, and everyone will go, fair play. You've done what you meant to do. That's absolutely right if that's the case. Because we always have a go at the media, don't we? When they write, when we know someone's done something and they write allegedly, and everyone's like, why are you saying allegedly? Because it's the law. They have to say that they can't not say it. So there's those things, and I hope they have done the right thing, because if they haven't,
we have to wait and see what they say as well. We can't accuse the Premier League already. We have to just wait and see. Maybe legally they weren't able to comment or whatever it is. You don't know. Cases of this nature, as Patrick pointed out, is very dangerous cases as well to society. So that's why I'm saying we just have to wait and see. If they did know and they couldn't comment, I'm sure they will let us know. So
absolutely,
despite my hatred towards referees and the PGMOL and stuff like this, this is not a moment for me to like bash them or whatever. I'm gonna have to wait and see.
I agree.
Because if they were advised legally to not do it because it affects the case negatively, you know how like certain times when like if someone says something publicly, it might have a negative effect on him being put guilty, basically. Well,
because you can't get a fair trial.
Mm-hmm.
So there's things that can be said. You know, the situations with like the Greenwoods and the Thomas Parteys and everything else, as much as on a moral and ethical level, I understand everybody's anger. I listened to a few criminal journalists, solicitors talk about this on one was on TalkSport and the other I don't remember where I heard them speak. And they said the only problem that you've got is, he said, and this is from he said, look, this will sound like I'm defending Arsenal with the I think he was talking Thomas Partey. He said Man United suspended Mason Greenwood because evidence became public, therefore it's already out there. United are not prejudicing anything. But if Arsenal had suspended him and stopped him from working, that could prejudice the case in a court of law, because it would be so high profile that Arsenal stopped a player playing. It may mean that Thomas Partey could be guilty, but these barristers could argue that he now can't get a fair trial and the whole thing gets thrown out. So there are legal elements that, like I just said, we all hate it when we see someone on CCTV and it goes viral on the news that they've done something, and then the newspaper say allegedly, and we all get angry. And why are you saying allegedly? We've all seen the footage. There are legal precedents that can't be broken. It's very easy for us on the outside sometimes to say, just break them, just say it. But life doesn't always work like that, to be fair. So these things are so complicated and horrible. Hope he rots in prison if guilty. Hopefully his status as a referee that doesn't save him from prison. Well, listen, just all I'm going to say is Hugh Edwards. Now, Hugh Edwards was much bigger and probably more popular than David Coote, but let's not pretend like that hasn't fucking happened in this country either. So yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that. But viewers, listen, we're going to move on from this horrible thing. And as I say, absolute sympathy goes out to anyone impacted by this, either directly or indirectly, because it is absolutely heinous and vile indeed. Moving on from this, and hopefully to cheer everybody up a little bit, if that's the right thing to say, I don't even know in these circumstances. City look like they've got a bit of an injury crisis ahead of the Manchester derby this weekend. LB, you a little worried, a little nervous about?
No more worried than I was before, to be honest. I'm just at a constant level of almost like my sort of enthusiasm from the season has been destroyed within 3 matches, and like sometimes when you reach a certain point, it can't get any worse. So I'm just like, yeah, is what it is. Mamouche now injured, and what? Like I'm just almost at such a I do not care level anymore. That what will be. Yeah, Doku's in his 3rd year now. He's talking about how he needs to improve. Sabio's back from his injury. Who knows where Foden is? And is what it is. So, bro, like, honestly, man, Mamouche getting injured makes a difference. But to me, and the way it makes me feel about the season, it's it just doesn't bother me, bro. Like I don't know how my enthusiasm for the season has been destroyed this quickly, bro. Like I was so gassed for the season coming into it, and it's literally just I just can't. I just don't care anymore because it's just been destroyed. All hope has been destroyed. Yeah, it's like a black hole. Yeah, was created above my head and has withdrawn all enthusiasm from my skull. Yeah, that's maybe why I went bald. Yeah, maybe it was a side effect of the black hole that has sucked all the enthusiasm out. So I'm just like, is what it is now. You know what I mean?
That explains a lot, LB. All your enthusiasm is gone already.
It's been destroyed, bro.
Just not to try and add anything to it, LB. So this is
it can't get any worse, Terry. It's fucking throw it out there, mate.
Right. So this is it. Man City's players that could miss could all miss the Manchester derby this weekend. Mamouche, it looks certainty. He's in a brace today. He ain't playing Sunday. Mamouche, Cherki, Foden, Nuri, John Stones, Nico Riley, Rico Lewis, and Guardiol supposedly could all miss the game. And you would probably argue how many of them are actual in the Guardiol, Stones, Nuri. They're definitely first teamers. Rico Lewis probably started the first 2 games of the season. Like, and Mamouche, Cherki, and Foden are, but maybe not all at the same time. So they're all kind of first team players and the first subs that come on. So it's a big miss. It's a big miss.
Big miss. Bro, what does it matter? Like, let's be real, man. Like, I don't even know, man, like where we're even at as a club at the moment with the players. The tactics and stuff. There's just a lot of question marks, bro. I'll be real. So let's see what happens this weekend. I feel like I'm not blaming injuries. I've literally not blamed them once, bro. So this is what Arsenal fans do. They invent things in their skull. But yeah, I don't see a world in which we win this league, to be honest.
LB doesn't make excuses, Arsenal fans, don't worry.
Bro, I'm just saying that.
That's a you thing.
I don't think we're good enough. Nothing to do with the injuries. I literally just.
I have an unpopular opinion about City's next 3 games. I'm gonna drop the bomb right here, right now.
Is this including Napoli or what?
Yes, I think Man United will beat Manchester City.
Okay.
I think Manchester City will then beat Napoli and either beat or draw Arsenal. I think. Yeah. Don't worry.
What are you on about, bro?
I have explanation, Habibi. Don't worry. Everything I have explanation. Here's the thing. Manchester City go into the Sunday as the favorites. And I think this works against them. I think being the favorite is a bad thing for Manchester City right now. I think your like, how can I say this? Your Achilles heel right now is exactly how Amorim sets up. Amorim is a fraud. We all know this. But in the big game, he performs well. Amorim in the big game does a very good job. He has gotten a draw away at Anfield. Could have won if it wasn't for Maguire missing that chance. He's beaten Arsenal in the FA Cup with 10 men. I think he's beat you already at the Etihad 2-1 Amad Diallo game. So I think they have everything that is capable of hurting Manchester City. They are capable of hitting you on the counter attack. Mbuemo, Sesko, players like that. I think they're very good on the counter attack, and I think that will be your Achilles heel. I think this game this Sunday goes one of two ways. I think either Man United put on a great defensive performance and they win 2-1, or City win like 4-0, 5-0. I really don't think there's an in the middle with this whole conversation. But then I think after this Sunday is when shit will pick up for Manchester City. And I say that for this reason. I think pride will get the better of Pep Guardiola, and he's gonna actually be able to like flip things around. I think Man United will be the final slap in the face to Pep, and then after that he's going to completely wake up and change back, because I do feel like Manchester City just need to go back to what worked already, which is being boring again. I think the problem is they're not boring anymore. Watching Manchester City is entertaining. It's not supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to be boring. It's supposed to be pass left, pass right 500 times. They haven't done that. They aren't doing that right now. That's the effect of yours truly, Pep Linders. Told the City fans, they didn't listen. Also injuries, Pep Linders, ask the Liverpool fans. You get me? Big up Martin, who's actually admitted this on camera. You get me? He thinks that this is one of the main reasons as well for it, because Pep Linders is a pressing heavy metal type of player, which City players aren't used to. And you can't do heavy metal football with Bernardo Silva anyway. So I think City are going to lose against United, but win against Napoli and possibly win or draw against Arsenal. I fully believe that. And I think the injury situation is very unfortunate for Man City, because they've started the season off with a lot of injuries. Cherki's out already. Marmoush got injured on international duty. Gvardiol is out. Ait Nouri. Like, there's so many players that are injured. And it's mad.
What can I say? Injuries do matter, though. Like, and I know LB is going to say no excuses. I think, I'll be honest with you, bruv. You know, I've got a lot of respect and time for you, but I think that's a social media thing. Injuries do make a difference, because if all those players are fit, you can still beat us at the weekend. I think United are going to win. I think we're going to win 2-1. If you had all those players fit, would I be as confident? No. Every team, when it loses players and first team players, and you've got Foden there that's great for you. I know he didn't have a great year last year, but overall good. Cherki's the new creative spark in the team as an example. Mamouche gives you a different element to your attack. If we're able to nullify Haaland by stopping the supply into him, Mamouche can do something different. Haaland's not going to pick the ball up. I'm going to get bit in the arse for this now, aren't I? But he's not going to pick the ball up 30 yards out, turn and hit a screamer into the top corner. Very unlikely to, where Mamouche can do it. So look, the injuries.
But you know why LB is saying that, though, right? We all know why LB is saying no excuses for injuries. Because he told the Arsenal fans last season there are no excuses, and now he has to keep the same energy, basically.
It is,
You have to keep the same energy, LB. That's why you're saying this. But deep down, you know that they do.
That's my opinion. That's because that's.
So if you had all your players fit, you wouldn't be more confident.
Well, no, because we had players fit for the Spurs game and we got battered.
So you're telling me if you had Gvardiol fit, if you had Marmoush fit, if you had all these players fit, you wouldn't be more confident? We're going to sit up here and lie to the public?
I think we'll beat United.
Wait, so why did you say that your enthusiasm was sucked out and everything?
Because my season is not just on whether we beat United or not. It's about the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
You think we'll beat Arsenal? I think that's a laughable statement.
And if it happens, then what?
And we beat United, then all of a sudden I'll be buzzing again.
No, I said if you draw or beat Arsenal, forget United, then what? Because you said it's a laughable take. And if it happens,
I think Arsenal will beat Manchester City. I don't think we're ready to play Arsenal. I don't think the team's ready. I don't think the squad's ready. I don't think Pep knows his best 11. I don't think Pep knows the best system to play these players in yet. So we got to go to one of the toughest grounds in the country. Nah, I don't see it. I think we'll get beat off them. I think we'll beat United. Yeah. I think we'll scrape past United. I don't think it'll be amazing. I think we'll scrape past United. God knows what will happen against Napoli, and then I think we'll get beat off Arsenal. And then
you'll beat Napoli because Conte has a bad record in Europe. Conte in Europe is not that guy. Like, you can ask anyone and he'll tell you. Conte literally got knocked out of the group stages with Serie A winning Inter Milan. Like, he's just in Europe, he's not that guy at all. So I think you will beat Napoli. Napoli is not that good away from home as well.
Wasn't he in charge of Tottenham when Tottenham went out in the group stage of the Conference League?
Yeah, he was. He has a very bad European record. Like, Conte is great for winning a league, but in Europe he just has a bad record.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
I think LB is underestimating his side a little bit. I think they are capable. I think he should believe in his team a bit more. I don't think City are.
So what have you? I got a minute though, right? So what have you seen? And this is mad because I want to defend my team, but at the moment I find it difficult. What have you seen that makes you believe that we can turn shit around?
Okay, what I've seen is a manager who's won 7 league titles in 9 years, who is one of the best managers of all time that I trust to turn things around. Despite me saying, by the way, what I said for the Sunday is the following. It's either Man United beat you 2-1 or you're going to win like 4-5-0. I really don't believe there's an in the middle. I think it's going to be like a big win for Man City, like 3-0 plus, or I think Man United actually like do an unbelievable defensive performance and beat you 2-1. But after that, what I'm saying is this is my logic. Let me tell you my logic. I feel like Pep is going to trust this way one last time. That's my logic, LB. So I feel like
do you think the players? I'm not talking about Pep. I like Pep. I rate Pep. I think he's the greatest manager of all time. Do you think we've got good enough football players to win the league?
Not win the league, but I think you can compete and go all the way. 100%. What makes you so... Okay, first of all, let me just take a step back here. So let me just finish my logic and I'll see if you understand my logic or not. I feel like this Sunday will be the last time he'll trust this way, which you know you've been playing differently and your fan base don't like it. This Sunday will be the last time he trusts it. I believe it won't work out and Man United will win. After that, Pep is going to go like, F all this. Let's go back to what made Manchester City great. Let's go back to the passing game. Let's go back to possession. Let's go back to being boring again. Let's go back to doing things our way. And I think it will start against Napoli and will continue against Arsenal. I think Pep, for me, my complete trust is in Pep Guardiola because I don't believe a manager that great is just going to sit on his ass and allow his team to be beaten week in, week out without figuring out a solution. So you say, do I look at these players and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yes, there are certain City players I don't rate. Of course, like I don't rate Doku, Savinho, blah, blah, blah. But there are a lot of players in your team that I do rate. I rate Guardiola. I rate your new keeper, as an example. I rate Rodri. I rate Haaland. There are so many good players in your side that on any given day, you're capable of beating any team in the world because of like who they are as individuals. Haaland had, like, I saw the goals against Moldova. I know it's only Moldova, but obviously, Haaland's goal-scoring ability cannot be denied. And at any moment in time, he goes through on goal. You're 1-0 up against any opponent. So I think my trust in Pep is that he will turn this back. That's it. Like, it's just a trust.
I hear it, but I trust Pep as well. My problem is I don't think we've got the players. I don't think we've got enough good players. I think we've got to have a right back. Our centre-back position is, we don't have a fucking clue what the best centre-back partnership is or even what our best centre-backs are right now. Our wingers are extremely poor compared to where they need to be. And whilst I think we've got a great spine, Donnarumma, I like Husam, but again, up for debate. And then you got Rodri, Reinders, and then Haaland. I think their spine is really good. I think outside of the spine is where we're weak. Both of our wingers are poor. Our fullback Nunes is not a right back. I know he got rinsed against Brighton. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. And I just think to myself, I don't know if we've got enough quality outside of that spine, to do what you're suggesting. And
so what's your starting 11 this Sunday? If like considering what will Pep do this Sunday, you tell us.
What would I do or what would Pep do?
No, what would Pep do? What's the starting 11?
Pep goes Donnarumma, Nunes. No idea what he does at centre half. No idea what he does left back. Probably plays like Nori left back. Rodri, Bernardo, Reinders, Bob, Haaland, Doku.
So okay, other than Doku, how can you claim that that's not good enough as a team?
Because I'll tell you why. Yeah, because our wingers are not good enough right now. Yeah, we don't have a good enough right back. Our left back.
I like Oscar Bob. He was involved in the Haaland goal as well against Brighton.
Okay, that doesn't make him a starter for Manchester City week in, week out, does it? Would you play that Rio kid week in, week out when you're playing Champions League? No, you wouldn't.
Don't ask me about Rio because I called him our own Yamal. Like,
okay, so that's the problem that I've got, bro. I think that we've got a good core, but this is why I think our summer was a weird summer because I think the players we signed were good players, but we didn't sign enough.
No, I agree with you on that, not signing enough. I think you and I will be had a lot of chats about you did the January, you started the summer well. I think we were all waiting for City then to sort of do phase 2 of their summer window, if that made sense. And it never really came. Interesting. I'll come back to the game in a minute, but maybe you've already answered this in what you said. But Staffy said Pep doesn't know the right system, LB. But then he said, but when I say he's washed, it's a crazy take.
Because what you're going to say, he's washed after one season.
He said it last year, to be fair. That's why he's dodging
Exactly.
you for tomorrow, Staffy, just so you know.
So one season, and now he's washed. Is this what we're doing? Is this football content now? We're saying he's washed after one.
Can I ask you a question, LB? Because you're a very level-headed City fan, and you won't just. If he doesn't find the right solution this season or next, and 3 seasons running you don't compete for a league title, do you think that goes against any legacy debates? As in him versus Fergie, I'm talking Premier League legacy. Do you think that goes against him if he can't, like, especially with dropping maybe by the end of next season, he's dropped 600-700 million?
Yeah.
If he doesn't find a solution, do you think that's damning not on his career? It doesn't take away any achievement. I would never say that either. But do you think it could be damning for the legacy conversation to not be able to rebuild a team?
Well, he has rebuilt the team, though.
He hasn't rebuilt a great City team. He's had one great City team that did the treble, won the quad. And look, it was only a couple of years prior to that treble winning team, predominantly that group won. Was that same group that won the domestic treble? Predominantly the same group.
Well, that team that won the treble was very different from the first team that won the that won the first league he won in 2017.
Okay, but the great team was the one that ended up winning the treble, that did that achievement, and then the 4-peat. That's where the team peaked, because that's your best achievement.
That's right, but there were still a lot of players that were in that weren't.
Do you think it damages his legacy if he can't rebuild that great team?
I don't think it damages the legacy, but that doesn't mean he shouldn't be moved on. Sometimes, you have to move on, but that doesn't mean it's damaged legacy.
Not at City, but I'm talking in terms of up against a Fergie, up against a Cloughy, up against a Shankly, those kind of comparisons. Do you think that will go against Pep, in your opinion?
No. I think that what he did at Barcelona, what he did at City, top it up with what he did at Bayern, I think that's more than enough. I mean, he's managed 2 of the greatest teams I've ever seen.
By the way, Ferguson didn't win 3 league titles in a row as well.
What do you mean?
Ferguson, after the Arsenal Invincibles, Mourinho won two league titles back to back. So he went 3 years without a league title.
He did rebuild a team again, but you can't forget what happened in those 3 years. Do you know what happened?
No, I know. You're talking about you're saying, okay, so he didn't win the league for 3 years and then he rebuilt it.
I'll give you an example. Yeah, but that isn't what I would talk about. For instance, if Pep went 3 years without winning the league, but it's because another Premier League. What's the average spent now by top teams in England? About 200 million a summer.
Like Liverpool, basically now.
No, more than that. When you actually look at the numbers of what Chelsea did when Roman came in, this context always needs to be applied. And this isn't to defend Fergie. It's just, it needs to be. Youngsters don't remember this. The average being spent back then by the top sides was around 30 to 40 million a summer on average, by Fergie, by Liverpool, by Arsenal, everyone. Chelsea came in and we're spending 170 to 200 million 3 years running. That is the equivalent now of City doing what they normally do, around 200 million. And Newcastle coming in and going 800 million, 800 million, 800 million. You're talking about just a completely different situation. What it took back then was a few years for teams to adjust and go, right, we now need to look at what we're doing, because there's no coincidence that as Chelsea started spending more, so did every other team, because you couldn't not do that. So listen, there's always context. And look,
I think Ferguson is greater than Pep, but I think here's the thing: if Liverpool, let's say Liverpool 3-peat, right? Just to make this argument easy, let's say Liverpool 3-peat. Pep is still at Manchester City, and he rebuilds his team and wins the 2 league titles after that. Then what?
Well, then he's shown he can rebuild a team, because one thing you can't control in football is how good your opponents are either. At the end of the day, Pep was a brilliant manager. It's not really Klopp's fault. Sorry, Klopp was a brilliant manager. It wasn't Klopp's fault that Pep was just better in that moment. It doesn't make Klopp's teams bad teams because they weren't necessarily winning the league. I always think that's a little bit flawed. There are loads of world-class MMA fighters right now that are not world champions because there's just a guy that's better. That doesn't make them not world-class. You can actually, in fighting, never become a world champion, but be better than previous world champions. So I think you always have to weigh those things up and put context into it. But I just look at the legacy debate with Pep and think, if he does another year, 2 years, and then the owners, the club go, you're not going to get it right, you've got to move on. I think when it comes to the overarching legacy debate between managers, I think that will go against him because some of those guys stayed through those tough periods. They did get it right. I'm never going to try and undo anything Pep has achieved, though, because I think that's ridiculous. He's a fantastic manager. But it's intriguing watching him struggle for the first time. Not because I'm enjoying it as a rival, just because he's been so great and almost so perfect for so many years. This is some real adversity. And I'm enjoying, not because it's City and because it's Pep and I'm a United fan, but it's interesting to see what he does. I kind of enjoy it, really. I think that Fergie went through that around sort of 02-03 time when he announced his retirement, came back out of retirement, and then had to rebuild his team again. It took, there was upstarts. You had Chelsea coming in. You had arguably Wenger's greatest ever team that went invincible to contend with whilst you're rebuilding. But it's about, and this is what I mean with Pep, can Pep stay the course? Can Pep remain dedicated to rebuilding that team whilst others are achieving more than him? That's part of the greatness for me, because you can't always control what others are doing, but you have to remain resolute, keep building, not scratch, 10 tons of skin out your face, and stay relaxed through that. And it's going to be intriguing to see whether he can do it. What is it against Pep, though? And this is where the context comes in. I don't think modern day football fans and clubs are as patient. So he may get booted before he gets a job, but that could be a mistake. Because if he really is the greatest and you think, well, he'll get it right at some point in the next few years, well, why would you not wait? You might get another 4-peat. You might get another treble. If he really is the greatest of all time, why would you move him on if you still think he can do it? That'd be great. Look, we can't answer those questions now because of it hasn't happened.
And the manager market is shit anyway. Like, who's City supposed to
hear that.
Oh, get out of here, man. I'm not bothered about this manager market. You got Slot, who no one had ever heard of, and won the league in your first year.
So are you Pep out?
I'm not Pep out, but I will never hear this thing about there's no other manager out there. I wouldn't be Pep out, but this argument that there's no other manager out there is ridiculous. When you lost,
but then you're talking like you're Pep out, even though you're.
I'm not talking like I'm Pep out. I'm talking like a realistic person who can have a balanced debate. When people say there's no one else out there, it's a lot of bollocks, because you went and got Slot after Klopp and won the league in the first year.
This is true. I agree with you.
It's true, isn't it? Yeah.
Even someone like Slot, who is available right now in the world? I mean, Amarim was looked at.
Bro? You literally got
no, wait. Amarim was looked at by my club and yours. Ten Hag was looked at by my club and yours. See how that's turned out.
Right.
So you're talking about Slot. Slot is more like an anomaly than anything else. Like,
but
getting a manager after someone like a Klopp and actually winning is rare. It's not like usual.
Proves the point. Yeah, it is rare, but it factually proves the point that there can be managers that can be better.
There can be, but it's rare. That's all I'm saying.
It's rare. Yeah, it is rare, but it's not possible, as you've proven with your own football.
Yeah, I agree that it's not impossible. I'm just saying it's rare. That's what I'm saying.
It is rare.
You look at all the clubs who have lost historic managers. You look at all the clubs who have tried something like this. A lot of them have failed.
I'm on LB side. Listen, I am slightly on LB side here, and it goes against a little bit of what I said earlier, because you might get rid of Pep because he has 2 failed seasons by his standards, but then you might regret it if your future recruitment's bad. He goes elsewhere and creates another great team. That could happen. Equally, Husam, this is where you're wrong, though. Yes, Man United lost Fergie, Wenger left. It took time to rebuild. That's because those clubs were built in the image of the manager. The way Liverpool are now built, no manager's in control. They get power, but your club is built in the image in
the image of the manager. Are you looking at Man City, brother?
No.
Who are Man City built in the image of?
Oh, don't do this. City were building their infrastructure. Yes, they brought Pep in and they bought players that will make Pep's system work, but that is what they were building towards the whole time. The infrastructure, the people that buy the players, they're run in a way that is, they're not Pep FC. They're not Pep. Pep doesn't run that club like Fergie run Man United, like Cloughy run Forest, like Shankly run Liverpool. That is not how you or City or Brighton or Real Madrid or Barcelona or Bayern Munich or Dortmund or Ajax. None of these clubs nowadays are built like that. You are built to be able to go from manager to manager. What you're also built to be able to do is, if you bring in a dud, you can move them on very quickly again and bring somebody else in, because you're not moving heaven and earth. Man United, this is why we've gone wrong for 13 years. A new manager comes in, right? We're changing the canteen. We're putting trees up. We're going to change the way we play, change the scouting, change the recruitment. You end up with these horrible Frankenstein squads. Your manager himself said it last year. I've barely changed anything from Klopp. He went, it's a new voice. It's a little bit of an adaptation. There'll always be differences with head coaches, but there's a big overlap. Where
if you think City is not built in Pep's image, I think you're crazy.
No. Pep, no. This is the thing.
It's harmonized, though, isn't it?
It's harmonized.
The club are built in a way that Pep likes.
It's the image of your club is literally Pep.
No, but this is the thing. No. Pep.
Why are we lying to each other?
Pep, no, this is where I think
are you going to pretend City are not built in Pep's image? This is crazy.
Sam, no, it's not crazy. You're looking at it from the wrong angle.
Yeah.
It is not built in Pep's image. Pep is the head coach that brings that club's image and style of play to life. It's a collaboration. It isn't. Pep didn't come into City and just change everything overnight. Yes, he gives suggestions because of how influential and amazing he is, and he helps them improve on areas. But he doesn't sit there and do what Fergie did and orchestrate the scouting and do the transfer negotiations and decide. He doesn't decide what happens at like grassroots level at the club when the academy started. He doesn't build all of that. City are building all that.
Really? So you don't think City's academy all play the same style?
No, but hang on. This is not because of Pep. Because the club decided to
do it. That's literally because of Pep.
Bro, we've done it. We did it under Pellegrini era as well.
It's not under Pep.
You really think you built a club in the image of Pellegrini? You're crazy. No. You're actually saying crazy.
Are you just not listening? It wasn't even
harmonized under Pellegrini. That's why he left a year after.
Did your mum drop you on your head? Did your mum drop you on your head, Husam? What are you not
crazy
right
now?
It's not built.
It wasn't harmonized at all, Mancini or Pellegrini. You were going to buy players that you think would make your club better, like the best of the best, like Yaya Toure, David Silva, Aguero, blah blah blah. It's not even similar now. It's not even the same
because the club evolved. Yes, I know I'm speaking on your behalf a little bit here, but when they first got taken over, when they first took over, it was all about. Yes, buy some stars, buy better players, because they had to kickstart the fact they were so far behind everybody else. 2 to 3 years in, they'd already won a league title doing that. Something massive also changed, and it was FFP came in. City realized then, and it's why for years I said Chelsea had to adapt their model as well. City realized very early on, they're one of the first big clubs or rich clubs in England to adapt to this. They needed to have a process where the manager wasn't the centerpiece of their football club, and they play a certain way, the way the academy plays, the way they develop players, and they bring managers in to bring it alive. Not the end result, but when they knew they'd got to a point where they built the infrastructure right, was to then bring someone like a Pep. They would never have been able. I mean, Pep wouldn't have gone there in 2012. He wouldn't have gone there in 2014 even. They had to build it so it was ready for someone like him. All the managers are at their football club are stakeholders that help them run a facet of the football club. What I do not believe you will see, I don't care if Diego Simeone or a manager like him is considered the best in the world in 2 years' time when Pep leaves. City will not go for a manager like that will literally go, we've got to rip up everything from the last decade, 15 years, and start again. It will be like your club. You will continue. Now, what might happen over 5, 6, 7 years is there is an adaptation, but that's because football changes anyway. The way Pep's football was being played, the way Barca were playing football 20 years ago has also adapted and changed with the modern day changing of time. Nothing stays exactly the same. Otherwise, you go backwards. But most modern day clubs, and this is why I've been screaming at Man United fans for years, stop overly focusing on managers and look at how we're run. There is an argument, Husam, to say that Richard, Hughes and Edwards are more important for Liverpool than Slot or Klopp. They're the guys actually that do a lot of the building work that historically the Shankleys and the Paisleys and the Fergies and the Busbys were famed for. Modern day managers are typically head coaches of the first team that may, with enough time at a club, have a bit more influence on infrastructure and how you do things, but they do not. They do not run the football club. And your club made one mistake when they allow Klopp to have too much power, and you started going backwards. So City don't do that, and I don't think they will. They're too well run to make that fucking mistake.
It's nothing you said debunks what I said though, because there are literal City fans on the chat who are saying Husam is saying the truth, right?
They're wrong.
I think they're wrong.
Nothing I'm saying is crazy. Yes, Manchester City are built in the image of Pep Guardiola right now. You're talking about their infrastructure and what they did to it 10 years ago. I'm talking about when Pep came in, the stuff that he changed. I'm talking about the influence of Pep Guardiola on Manchester City Football Club. When Pep Guardiola first walked in, it took him a year. After that year, for the last 10 years, I'd say, since he's been like, forget the first year, because first year he played like, there was moments in time where he played 3 of the back, where he played Kolarov left center back and stuff. So forget that season. I'm talking about from that year onwards. So that season, it wasn't Pep's image, but that, like, from that moment onwards, for the next 10 years, that the football club has been built in Pep's image.
So, okay,
now you're talking about. No, let me respond because I didn't.
No, I want to stop you there for a second. I want to stop you for a second.
Because you're going to ruin my train of thought.
No, I'm not going to ruin your train of thought. I'm not going to ruin your train of thought. We might cut 10 minutes off the show by just letting me speak for a second. The way they play on the field of play, of course, his image and training style and coaching has had an influence on the way they play football. But the way they run the football club is what we're talking about. And the next manager that comes in will, of course, have his say. There will be adaptations and things will look a little different. But that manager that will come in, that coach that comes in to replace him, will not look at the squad and go...
No one is denying that, though. You're talking about something I'm not talking about.
No.
I'm not saying Manchester City will not hire Diego Simeone after
talking cross paths. We're talking
No, we're not talking cross paths. You just interrupted me. Manchester City are not going to hire Diego Simeone after Pep. We already know that. You're saying stuff that I know. I'm not, and that's because they built the club in the image of Pep.
No,
so they need a manager that is similar. So if Manchester City let go of Pep Guardiola tomorrow, they're gonna have to go find a manager like an Iraola or a manager like that. They're gonna have to go find a manager that's like of that,
and that
same
started
ilk,
when
like,
we sacked Mancini.
You're talking about Mancini, which I'm not talking about. You're talking about my years when this whole thing started.
City, when we sacked Mancini, City put out a statement and basically said, we want to play like this brand of football as a football club, right? So they started buying those styles of players when we appointed Pellegrini. Pep's come in, and obviously Pep can work with that style, works in that situation. So when Pep leaves, we will get a Pep style manager. That's what Terry's saying. We're not
because the club is built in his image.
Thank you. The club is built in an image of the way they want to play, which Pep Guardiola
which is
ticks
Pep's
the
way.
box.
The sporting director that left, Cheeky joined the football club 4 to 5 years before Pep did. Wording's important. What we do is language. We all speak. Podcast is about language, and this super chat probably sums it up best. City is not run by Pep, but City is built for Pep. City built itself so Pep could be successful there. Yes. But Pep didn't build the way the club is run. It won't. And back to the original point you made, City will not crumble just because their great manager leaves.
Yeah, City will not hire Mourinho. Right. We know this.
Because they won't crumble. And the reason why the other clubs crumbled when the great managers left is because everything was done by those managers and everything was built in their image. But there was nobody running it above them who could then continue that. We should never have gone to a David Moyes from a Sir Alex Ferguson. It was crazy. One, Moyes weren't a good enough coach. So he didn't know how to run a football club the size of Manchester United. They basically went, there you go, you can run it with a little bit of help from an accountant called Ed Woodward. It's crazy.
Also, you needed a manager because you didn't adapt quick enough towards the end of Fergie's time. You actually needed someone to come in and run the whole show. Whereas obviously Pep doesn't do that. City, Pep's the coach. So what should have happened at United in those last 5 years? Yeah, and this isn't Fergie. This is the people above him. They should have seen that football was changing. Sporting directors were coming in, and they should have started to adapt. And obviously, he could have said to Fergie, like, "You can run the whole show, but like after you go, we're not having another Fergie. We're going to modernize." But what happened is when Fergie left, obviously United were then playing catch up with all this because they didn't implement this towards the end. But then you say yourself, you then went to Moyes, to a Van Gaal, who a completely different style, to a Mourinho, to a Ole, who's a completely different style. United were bouncing all over the place in terms of managers and in terms of styles of play. This is why they've spent so much money. This is why they've sold load of players and bought load of players, because every new manager, they needed new players, new style of player. When City get rid of Pep, when Pep leaves City, they will get a manager that can work with the current players.
Yes.
That's facts.
No, I agree. And look, I'll say this now. I always wanted Pep and Klopp when we first got rid of Fergie, but hindsight, they would have both failed miserably at our club as well, because they wouldn't have had the infrastructure, the recruitment, and everything else surrounding them. And they don't know, neither of them know how to run football clubs. And it's such a different skill. So I was laughing, by the way, when you were talking, because Ralf Rangnick's got an ankle injury. Did you see how he was getting around the pitch yesterday in the Austria game? He's on a fucking bike. He's running around the pitch on a bike. Sorry, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. This here says Husam is as sharp as a marble. That's not very nice, is it? That's not very nice. He's very sharp.
Okay. People like this insult. If you got on a stream with me, I'd make you cry.
That's not nice, is it? But
I also speak 3 languages and I have an engineering degree.
But doesn't know how Man City are run. That it's fair as a trade-off.
Actually, City fans in the chat are agreeing with me, so I don't know what you're on about.
Okay.
The club is not built in Pep's image, but when Pep leaves, they're gonna get someone who plays similar football. Wow.
Okay, because it's not built. Okay,
because it's not built in Pep's image, but when he leaves, let's get someone who plays similarly to him.
Built in an image that City, again, they brought in people like Cheeky. Is it Cheeky that you say his name? He was at the club he joined the club when Pep just joined Bayern Munich. Of course, there was an idea to
Where was Cheeky before Man City?
Barcelona, I assume.
Oh, crazy.
Yes, hang on, but they brought him in They brought him in when Pep just joined Bayern Munich. They literally were building the club in hope that they'd be able to attract someone like Pep Guardiola to coach the first team in an image that they were already building.
Correct.
The way football moves so fast these days, you cannot solely rely on a manager anymore. I agree. I'm at a point where no one will do it, because especially in England, we'll never do it because we're so fixed on the manager's got to be the main guy. But I honestly do think that Edwards at Liverpool is more important than Slot. He is more important than Slot. He deserves as many accolades and shout outs as the coaches do these days. They're every bit as important. LB, this is why I say Pep is Ange with Saudi money. Oh,
that's crazy.
Okay, mate.
Built for the club, but influenced by the manager. Yeah, definitely influence. Of course, top managers will always influence. City is built for Pep equals City is built in Pep's image. You're agreeing with Husam. No, we're not.
It's built for the same thing. That argument's
but it isn't. Built in someone's image is, again, so I suppose the way you want to word it, I don't look at it that way. And I think building something in Fergie built Man United in his image. He built the club in his image. City wouldn't have changed direction if Pep decided to stay at Bayern Munich.
And that's why you failed after. Because there is no one like Ferguson's image. There is no one like that concept.
But if City, let's say, for instance, 9 years ago now, City were like, look, Pep, do you want to come? Pep went, no, do you know what? I'm staying at Bayern Munich. City wouldn't have gone, cheeky, you're off. We're ripping up the script because Pep ain't coming. They'd have continued. They would have just gone to a different coach. So they're not built by him in that image. They wanted a certain style of play, and they went for the best version of that. It's like buying a striker. You know what I mean? There's not not one striker that can do it, but you want the best version of it. Come on now. I don't think it is built purely for Pep. But there we go. Viewers, give us your thoughts, give us your feelings. Back on the United game very quickly, though, I will just say, I think I actually agreed with what you said right at the start of this conversation, LB, is in performance-wise. I think if you beat us, it'll be close in that regard. I don't think it'll be a whitewash, but that's why I think we're going to win. I think it will be a close game, and I'm just going with Man United to nick it, and the injuries have made me a little bit more confident. And it was you, actually, LB, that made me confident. What you said last week about your record against Big Six sides is actually really poor in recent years. So, and I expect us to a little bit more, because I do believe that the injuries weaken aside. And when I look at City's injuries, it looks like we're going into this with a pretty much clean bill of health. Our record against other big teams has been pretty good. City was good last year. So, yeah, I'm putting a bit of pressure, a bit of standards on the team to go there and get a result. Look, I'd take a draw away at a club like that, but I think we can go there and win. So, yeah, I'm predicting a 2-1 win to United in that game. This here says, I get what Husam is saying. Companies have their own goals, but the CEO builds the structure in his image in a way he thinks the company will achieve his goals. And again, depends. So I remember this all happening at Barclays real time when I was there. The board set the agenda. The CEO is who they pick to bring it to life. But typically they pick a CEO who's going to bring it to life in the way in which they want. I mean, maybe we're playing a little bit of semantics here. But at the end of the day, that's kind of how these things go. If I run the Football Terrace,
both of your arguments are crumbling the more that you speak, by the way. I hope you know.
No, I don't think they are at all.
Actually, there's a question that I can ask both of you guys that literally destroys both of your arguments. Since the club is not built in the image of Pep, and it's built in the image of what Manchester City want to do for the future, why are City fans complaining about recruitment for the last 2 years?
because recruitment's been crap.
I could argue that the reverse Klopp is happening since they stopped allowing Pep to have as much power and they started doing this recruitment. They've not been successful.
How do you know what? How do you know that has even happened? Where have you got this from?
Logically.
Go on, explain logic.
So is Doku a Pep style player? Is Nico Gonzalez a Pep style player?
So
is
when we're going back to
style player?
When we're going back to,
didn't Pep come out publicly and say I'd like a small squad? Then you say all of these things.
But when are we going back to it? When did this change happen?
I would say probably last summer when you guys started complaining about recruitment and how things
didn't happen when we signed Calvin Phillips, no? In 2022.
No, I said last summer, not this summer. Like from last summer, 2020.
No. But when was the initial change that we?
And that was when Cheeky left as well, and then you got the new guy Hugo Viana.
No. So when was the initial change to when we swapped?
From when you started having this recruitment, the likes of Doku, etc.
So about 2 to 3 years ago.
No, I said last summer. Last summer you bought Doku.
Yeah, but what about the summer before?
What about the summer before?
The summer before is when this whole situation started. After the treble.
So when Pep had less power, it's less of Pep's image.
But that's I'm asking you to explain. You've still not explained it. How do you know Pep had less power?
Because it's obvious from the signings. The signings have shifted in a way where you look at some of the signings and you think, okay, this is not a Pep style player. Like,
but how do you know Pep had that power in the first place?
What do you mean?
How do you know Pep had that power in the
first
place?
Because of the signings. I've explained it.
But that's no, you're not explaining it. You've not explained how you know. You seem to claim to know that Pep had all the power. Yeah, up until about what, 2 years ago on all the transfers?
Probably.
And then you're claiming that you know that they took the power off Pep, despite having the most dominant period in English football and winning the treble. You're then claiming that City took the power off him. So they just won a treble, and you're claiming that the club said to Pep, "Sorry, you're not having the power."
Yeah, but that's just what I think. That's just my opinion, and I'm
based on what?
Basing that opinion. Yeah, I'm basing that on a couple of things. Based on Pep's future, the whole contract situation, because it's uncertain whether he stays or not.
That's always happened. That's always happened. 2-year contract.
So he wins the treble. He has all the power. Wins the treble, has one of the most dominant periods in English football history, becomes one of the greatest European sides of all time. They're begging him to stay for longer, but in that process, they take away his power.
Not take away his power. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the signings that he made, the signings that Manchester City have made for the last, I would say, 2 years, like this summer and the summer before, are less and less Pep style signings. Donnarumma is not a Pep style signing. Nico Gonzalez, Omar Marmoush,
Pep's the one that wants Donnarumma.
So then they're preparing for life after Pep, I guess.
What? I've just told you, Pep's the one that wanted Donnarumma.
Then this whole argument is even crazier because Donnarumma is not even a Pep style player. That's why
maybe wrong in what you're saying.
That's why Enrique let him go to begin with. Enrique and Pep have similar ideals.
Maybe it's not as deep as you're making out. Maybe the club just.
We'll see. Time will tell.
Maybe. Yeah. What's more likely? They've just. The club is still signing.
Time will tell. Maybe your club is planning something we're all unaware of.
Well,
maybe Pep has told them he wants to leave soon.
I think where you could have an element of truth is Pep spoke of how football's changing and things have become more direct and less about possession. So the club might be going through a process of trying to recruit to make that work. But that would indicate it's changing its club level approach, which means they've got academy players that maybe are not going to suit that style because they're now adapting and they're moving. This happens to all clubs. It's why in England, I think it's different in Spain and Germany because there's not one. They have one or two dominant clubs financially. Where in England, there's loads of us fuckers now, and this is why I think we're all our clubs. No matter how good you are, English football history has shown when you start to pivot and you start to change direction and you start to readjust, which you have to do because City did it a decade, 2012 they did it, and that maybe they're starting to do it again. You go for a bit of a down period. This is what just happens. But they maybe are right to attack if they feel because they should know more than we know about football. Maybe they're seeing that less and less academies now are doing the tiki-taka possession-based football, and it's all more technique, but coupled with speed and power. So maybe City realize we've got to adapt now. In adapting now, we're gonna go backwards for a few years, but we'll get back on top. That is better than continuing down a path where maybe you stay number one now for 2 or 3 years, but then when all those footballers die out, you're fucked. And this is the thing about adaptation. You've got to. So again, but by the way, that wouldn't be led by Pep. That would be led by the people running the football club, if that's true.
As it should be.
As it should be in the modern day game.
I'll tell you, Husam, yeah, the reason why City have fallen off, bro, is because we've let players leave and we've replaced them with much worse quality. That's just the truth. Our transfer strategy was probably one of the best in Europe for a good 8 years, right? Proved by the trophies. Unfortunately, since the treble year, our transfer strategy has been a disaster. It just has. There's no other word to describe it. Now, why that happened, I don't know. Let me just give you some examples, Husam, yeah? We let Riyad Mahrez leave this football club, bro, yeah? You rate Mahrez, isn't it? You rate Mahrez.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Bro, we replaced him with Jeremy Doku, bro. We let Cole Palmer leave the football club. I was one of the few Manchester City fans that said that was a mistake. Yeah, there'll be some City fans in the chat that was with me at the time. There'll be some City fans who didn't see it. I said that was a mistake when it happened. Yeah, we let him go. We then signed Savinho, right? Why did we not sign Elise, who was Prem-proven? Why? Because the price was double. Yeah, we could have signed Bruno Guimaraes 3 years ago, bro, for £100 million. Instead, we signed Matheus Nunes. Yeah? We've just let the greatest Premier League right back of all time leave in Kyle Walker, and we've not even replaced him. Never. Not replaced him. Unfortunately, over the last 2 or 3 years, we've let a lot of quality leave this football club, and we have not replaced it. What we've done, we've gone down the potential route. We've gone down the Chelsea route, which I don't like, as people know. Yeah, I don't like potential because I think it's a myth. Yeah. Now, what I've seen this summer, yeah, is I've seen City try to go back to what they were doing. You look at Aït-Nouri, Prem proven. You look at Tijani Reinders, midfielder of the year in Serie A. Yeah. You look at, obviously we wanted Wirtz, didn't get him, but the intent was there. We got Cherki, good signing, right? What we try to do is go back to what we were doing. Unfortunately, because the damage has already been done by 2 poor transfer windows, it's probably going to take us another window now. But that's the reason we fell off. We've got worse players. It's just a fact. It's an undeniable fact. We've let players go. You can't let, right? Chat, listen to this chat, yeah? Walker's bang average says 1 love. Oh, my God. Right, you can't let Kyle Walker leave the football club and not replace him. Imagine, yeah, I know the different positions, right? But imagine, Husam, next summer, Salah leaves and Liverpool go, we're not replacing him.
We're going to sign the player that you just mentioned, Elise.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I want my football club to put serious cash down for Elise. Yeah, you can't let Mahrez leave, right, and not replace him. Or we replace him with potential. You can't. If you sell Salah, you can't go and get a 19-year-old. You can't do it. You can't go and get some. You can't do it, bro. And that's what we did with Mahrez. We disrespected him. We let him leave, yeah, on the cheap, by the way, and replaced him with some young kid. If Arsenal get rid of Saka, right? Let's say Saka goes, you know what? I want to go Madrid, right? What are they going to do? Stick a 19-year-old in there? No, they're going to have to go big. They're going to have to go in the market for Rodrigo, for an Elise. Yeah, and unfortunately, that's just what's happened. We've let too much quality leave. We've not replaced it. The good news is, I get the vibe that City have recognised their mistakes this summer. The problem is the damage has already been done, and we still need a good 3 or 4 players because we've let players leave. Bro, we got rid of Ilkay Gundogan, yeah, after the treble year. Unbelievable. We bought Nunes. I'm not trying to shit on these players, yeah. It's not their fault, but they're not good enough. They're not good enough, bro.
Oh, yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
A few super chats here. This says, so Husam just tripped himself up. If Donnarumma is not Pep's style player, proves LB and Terry's point that City is not built for Pep.
No, but that's more of my conspiracy theory because I think there might be a world in which Pep is leaving, to be honest with you.
Cheeky is Pep's best mate in football. He was brought in to turn City into a club Pep would come and manage. So City's idea to build a club that someone like Pep could get to the very top. I don't view that as building it in the image of a manager. There's a long-term view beyond that as well. It won't die with Pep. It's the strategy of the club moving forward. TK would have been sacked if Pep said no. Again, there's no. If you can show me some evidence of that. If you can show me the Cheeky saying, yeah, Pep said no, I was out on my ear roll because the only reason I was there was to bring him in. I don't think that would have happened. There isn't a single shred of evidence to prove that theory. Where what LB has and I have in our argument is what City said, what City have done. And even when you look at the players that have been shortlisted to replace Pep, yes, Ten Hag has fallen off the edge of a cliff, but you can understand why his name was there. You look at most of the managers link that are on there, because what City have is a constant shortlist of managers to replace him. They've all got a Pep. I mean, Arteta's name was on there, probably still is on there to a certain degree because they know what he's done. You know for a fact Maresca's name's on that list. It might be lower down, but it will be there depending on what he does in the next 2 years. There's a reason for this thing. Moving away from Man City, probably the longest we've ever spent on Man City on the show, to be fair. Yeah. Do you think Isak's going to be ready for this weekend, raring to go? Because the Swedes weren't very happy with him, Husam. He's getting a lot of stick on socials saying that, chasing money, chasing Liverpool, he's not fit for us, we've lost games. The Swedes have even turned against their main man. But do you think he'll be ready? Do you reckon he can handle the pressure of being a Liverpool player now moving forward? You reckon he'll shine?
Gunnar Terry is back at it again because he didn't bring up what the Swedes were saying about Gyökeres. You get me? Let's not even go there.
We're not talking about Gyökeres. We're talking about...
That's what I'm talking about, because guess what? I watched the Sweden-Kosovo game, and I did a watch-along for that game as well. And in those 18 minutes that Isak came on, he did more than Gyökeres did in the 2 games before that. So let's just state the facts. I don't give a fuck what the Swedes think, okay? No one gives a fuck about the Swedes.
Well, you did a minute ago. You care what they said about Gyökeres.
Yeah, I don't give a shit, bro. No one gives a fuck, respectfully, about the Swedes. Okay. Anyway, big up all the Swedes.
You look very angry if someone doesn't care, but continue. Sorry.
In those 18 minutes that Isak came on, he immediately made the Swedish national team 100 times better. Drop deep, collect the ball, drift to the left-hand side, try to interchange, try to link up play, try to do so much stuff that Gyökeres was incapable of doing for the whole 90 minutes against Kosovo. You get me? Because I actually watched the game. I don't go based off what the Swedes are saying. So he had a very good cameo when he came on, and yes, he is ready, 100%. I felt so excited, even without him scoring a goal or getting a GA. I'm already excited because he got into all the right positions. He linked up play really well. And to be honest with you, I think this is our league title. This is our league title to lose. If we lose this league title, it's because we lost it. It's not because Arsenal are great. It's not because City are great. It's because we're ass if we do lose this league title. This is our league title to win. It's just the truth. And to be honest with you, listening to LB fucking losing his enthusiasm is essentially be like, you get me, depressed about the season. Meanwhile, Arsenal fans are calling Arteta a coward. I'm good, bro. We've played like shit. The team haven't gelled. We've conceded 7 goals and we're top of the league 9 points from 9. So what's gonna happen when we do gel? When we do start playing well? When we do I'm beyond excited for this season. I'm the polar opposite of LB. When you text me on WhatsApp, I respond immediately. I don't take 3 business days. So I'm completely happy about this season. You get me? I'm very excited, and I look forward to it. And I think this Sunday against Burnley, it's going to be a murder on the pitch. I'll be honest with you. I think it's going to be 6 or 7. I think it's going to be who the fuck wants a GA? Wirtz will get his first GA. Salah is going to get GA. Ekitike, Isak, when he comes on for 30 minutes, is going to get GA. It's very unfortunate for us because he just didn't have a preseason because Newcastle are fucking useless. And we've now realized for a fact that Newcastle are useless because of the signings that they made and how long they took to sign someone and the replacements and all that shit. So I think this is our league title to win. I expect us to win multiple trophies this season. And Isak will cook. And watching him against Kosovo, I already know what I'm going to get. That Salah pass in behind to Isak, that Gakpo cross to Isak, the Wirtz through balls to Isak. I genuinely cannot believe that my football club has went out and done stuff that I haven't seen my whole life. I'm actually on a Straight Facts show talking about Alexander fucking Isak, bro. That alone in itself is insanity, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm excited, and I think we're gonna cook the shit out of Burnley. I'm not worried about any game. I'll be honest with you. I'm literally not worried about any game of football. I'll be worried if we play Man United just because of the rivalry. I'll be worried if we play Manchester City just because I respect Pep. Other than that, bro, bring me anyone. I don't give a shit. Bring me Madrid, bring me Inter, bring me PSG, bring me Atleti, bring me any club, bro. And I actually think we're going to play even better in the Champions League than we will in the Premier League. I think these players hate the way that we got knocked out the Champions League, and they're going to come back with a vengeance, to be honest with you. So this Wednesday against Atletico as well, if you want to go there, bro, I feel like we're going to cook their asses too. I think this club is excited. I'm excited. I'm so happy.
Are you still slot out?
You really waited for me to give this war speech just to say this. I changed my opinion the day after.
I've not got much more at the moment.
Yeah, it was just an emotional reaction.
I look at Liverpool and go, fairs, man. Like, you know what I mean? They're cooking. The signings are sick. Like the team's mega. I think Slot is an unbelievable coach. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and this is why I always said, like, I went back to going back to last year. I remember being on Straight Facts after 3 games. I said, this Slot guy's serious, man. Like, you know, the managers, yeah, you don't need ages to know if a manager's good or not. Yeah, I think Slot's the real deal, man. I really do. I think a top manager. I think the signings are mega. I actually think Liverpool look really quite balanced. I think the only thing that I would say about Liverpool so far is Konate started really shaky. But other than that, I think they look good. Szoboszlai is playing sick. And yeah, Milos, bro, I don't even want to glaze, man. But I have to tell the truth, innit? And my opinion is I think Liverpool are just gonna cook this league, man, at the moment, bro. I'll be real. I think the craziest thing is, yeah, because now they've signed him, right? I can say this again, and hopefully chat will actually respond. Before you signed Isak, right, Husam, I want your opinion on this, yeah. And I was being honest, yeah. People were saying, "Oh, LB, what do you think about Liverpool might be signing Isak?" I actually said, how much does Isak propel you? Because the way that Ekitike was playing was phenomenal. I thought Ekitike coming to that side, that Liverpool team, and not even take away the goals, like the way he was playing was fantastic. I actually said, I don't even think Isak makes Liverpool that much greater. Like, do you... No, I'm actually being deadly serious, bro. I actually don't think like he's gonna... I don't think that's how football really works, but what do you think? Do you think he's going to make you even better, like, or what, or more clinical? People were saying I just didn't want Isak to go to Liverpool. It wasn't about that. I genuinely don't think Isak makes them like miles better than they already are. I think Ekitike was already mega.
Put up Tony's super chat, please, because I'm rattled by it. It's the latest one. City Pool at it again. Tony, when the clubs who play sexy, beautiful football for the planet to watch are talking, don't bring us your Stoke City bullshit and come cry at us. This is your problem. All you Arsenal fans in the chat don't understand what it's like for LB to watch Liverpool and go like fairs. Sexy football, beautiful football, pass, create, do stuff. This guy's falling asleep on his Arsenal watch-alongs. I'm falling asleep on my Arsenal watch-alongs. That's why no one's bringing up your fucking club. Because you're ass to watch. You're shit to watch. You beat Manchester United with a set piece. You tried to beat us with a set piece. You think it's sustainable? That's the reason why no one likes Arsenal. Because your manager is fucking annoying as well. Anyway, as I was saying now to answer LB's question. Yes, Isak does make us a lot better. Of course he does. I think we would have been favorite with Ekitike. But look, AFCON comes around in January. When Mo goes, I think that allows us to play a 4-4-2 diamond. Not the 4-4-2 version that Newcastle fans thought that they'd play because they're absolute idiots, but 4-4-2 diamond, so 4 midfielders essentially. And I think the other thing is, look, games are coming thick and fast, LB. Like, you've got Premier League, Champions League, Premier League, Carabao Cup, Premier League, Champions League. I think Slot has shown the ability to rotate, and we have to go into the mind of the modern-day footballer. I think modern-day footballers want to be rotated. I think modern day footballers want to be rested. I think modern day footballers want to just like have a game off. Like, let's look at it objectively. Liverpool play Burnley, Atletico, and then we play Everton in the derby. The Wednesday after that, we got Southampton. If you're Slot, you're going to go Ekitike against Burnley because obviously Isak is not fit. You bring on Isak for 30 minutes. You then start Isak against Atletico and you start him against Everton, and then you play Ekitike as an example against Southampton in the Carabao Cup. So I think rotation is a thing. And look, when you have you can never have enough nuclear weapons. Never. Like, we're talking, would I have been confident with just Ekitike? Of course, but Isak is like a nuclear weapon. He's not just a ballistic missile. He's nuclear. It's different. You're talking about adding 20 goals basically in the Premier League to a team that already can score a lot of goals. So it does make a massive difference. But Isak makes a big difference for us in the UCL, actually, more than anything. Counter-attack.
Yeah,
a goal.
I probably agree with that. I don't know. I just feel that, like, sometimes people just go, oh, well, if you put this player in, like, you look at PSG when they had Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe. And this is why, like, when we have these conversations about PSR and that, I never really, like, believe what people say about, oh, well, then they'll just win everything on it. Because, like, you have to build a team, right? I mean, if you look at PSG, look at their team last year. It's a phenomenal team. Yeah, it didn't have Mbappe in it. Didn't have Neymar in it. Didn't have Messi in it. And I look at Liverpool, right? And I know we're only going off a couple of games here, but with Ekitike up top, Gakpo off the left, Salah off the right, and then the rest, I just looked at a Liverpool team and went, that is so balanced. Ekitike was dropping in, playing almost like Firmino used to do sometimes. Wirtz was spinning in and going in behind. And I just think, and that's why I said when people was asking me, say, what do you think about Isak? I was like, I'm not convinced that Isak coming in is going to make Liverpool even better than they were in the first few games. I think it'll make them more clinical, but that doesn't mean that they'll be better. It just means if they do create the chances, they'll score. I think Champions League, maybe, Husam's onto something.
Yeah.
But, like, this isn't FIFA. You have to build a team. And when I looked at that Liverpool team with Ekitike, I saw such a balanced side. And listen, I'm not saying it's not going to work. I'm just saying that I'm not sure that, like, they're going to be that much better with Isak in it than Ekitike.
You mentioned PSG. PSG's front three: Dembele, Kvara, Doué. In January, Dembele, Doué, and Barcola. In January, they signed Kvaratskhelia. That helped them take that to the next level. That's what I'm looking at with Isak. I'm looking at, okay, look, Mo, Gakpo, and Ekitike is great. You're right. But now with the signing of Isak, it gives me 100 different possibilities, which makes me more lethal, if you would like.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not the argument I'm having. I agree that it gives you better depth and shit. But I'm talking about in terms of what is the best Liverpool team? Is it with Ekitike, like, in terms of how you actually play, not in terms of paper?
It's with Isak.
Do you know what I think is interesting?
You're certain of that,
because Isak also drops deep, but clinically, he's a lot more clinical than Ekitike. I know Ekitike is had unbelievable goals.
Mint, man. Nice freaking ball.
I told people about Ekitike. I still remember the stream on Straight Facts. These Arsenal bums in the chat were talking about Sesko and glazing him. I told them about the fundamentals of football. They all laughed at me. Guess who has fundamentals and who doesn't? Ekitike. So
look, let me just say very quickly on this. I feel like with Isak, I get your point about Neymar and kind of Galactico signings, but I don't think Isak sees himself as the way Neymar saw himself. Neymar didn't want to run and work, and I think you can get away with potentially one Neymar in a team. You can't get away with two or three. So someone yesterday was talking about Pep, actually, and they were saying how he got rid of like Ronaldinho and got rid of his star player and made his team better. But imagine being able to do that, losing your best player. Well, I don't know if Ronaldinho would have played Pep's way. Would Ronaldinho track back like Pedro did? No. Like, I don't think his system would have worked with.
That's what I'm saying.
So, and this is the thing, right? So as much as I get he lost his best player, there was a reason for it. But I'm not. That's the only way this does go wrong. So where LB is, I'm not saying LB is right or wrong, but where it does go wrong for Liverpool is if Salah's getting on a bit and doesn't track back because he's getting older. If Isak says, well, I ain't getting involved, I'm the star man. If Ekitike is like, well, I want to be the star man, so I'm not running back either because I want to be up the other end when we score goals. I'm not saying it will happen, but that's where it could go wrong. If you have two, I just don't like.
You want it to happen, Mr. Arsenal, but here's the difference.
No. Don't I'm not saying I don't think it is going to go wrong. I predicted you to win the league. Of course, I want it to go wrong. It's fuck all to do with Arsenal. You're Liverpool,
I know.
Man United.
I'll actually give you a football debunk to what you said, football-wise, genuinely. Here's the difference between us and the Galactic.
It wasn't an opinion. It was this. It was me saying it's the only way it would go wrong. It's not.
But I'll tell you why I don't believe that will happen. I'll tell you why I believe that won't happen. It's because all of these players have things to prove yet. I don't think they're Galacticos yet. Isak hasn't won a league title or a Champions League. Wirtz never won the Premier League, never won the Champions League. As a matter of fact, what debunks this from a football perspective genuinely on a reel is the fact that do you know who the player that has run the most for Liverpool in the last 3 games?
Zabozo.
No, Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz has covered the most distance, like per 90, with him on the pitch for the last 3 games. So it shows me that despite his price tag, despite the fact that he's a Galactico on paper. They're all willing to work hard and work for the team and do all these things. They're a Galactico, but like the version of like David Villa, you know, not the version of a Ronaldinho, Thierry Henry, where they're all established, won everything already, blah blah blah. That applies to like Mo, it applies to Virgil, it applies to Allison, but it doesn't apply to any of our new signings because they all haven't won anything yet. Like Virgil don't have a league title, Premier League title. Same with Isak, same with all the new players. So I think that their desire and hunger to want to win, and it shows in Isak's interview. First question: what do you look forward to winning?
Hang on a minute.
To win everything.
Most players, when they sign for a new club, say these things and do these things.
You think Cunha and Mbeumo are saying I want to win everything? They're delusional.
They're at Manchester United. I'm talking about top clubs that are trying to win stuff.
Wow. That's crazy.
You think players are going to Real Madrid and not saying the same thing? Or Barcelona? Or
yeah, but great. I want us to have Real Madrid mentality.
Yeah, but like, come on, man. Like, fucking hell. Again,
Trent won everything
club.
already.
You're not Stoke. Like, you know what I mean? You're a club that is used to this.
Maybe Trent won everything already.
And he says, I want to win everything. And he signed Isak and he says he wants to. Of course he's going to say that. What else is he going to say?
But you missed my point completely. I'm saying they haven't won anything yet. Who have Real Madrid signed, LB? Tell me.
I know they've not won anything yet, but what does this matter?
Okay, I'll actually generally explain to you the difference. Who have Real Madrid signed?
Mastantuono.
Okay, don't be disingenuous.
Trent?
I'm talking about like the Galactic. Okay, the Galactic.
Where is this 60 million euro signing?
Trent has won everything already. Mbappe has won everything already. The only thing he hasn't won is the Champions League, and you actually see. Yeah, well, hear me out. But you see, his desire is different in the Champions League than in La Liga. You see,
I also think Mbappe's got a little bit of a ego situation, which you know.
No, I hear you. All I'm saying is, at my club right now, these players are Galacticos on paper, LB, but they don't have the medals to show for it. You get me? That's why I believe that they will have that hunger to run and work for the team.
So you think if Liverpool signed Rodrigo from Real Madrid, he wouldn't be working hard?
Oh, that's different, because that's once again a player with a point to prove who's on Madrid's bench. Ask me about a different player. Okay, if we signed Mbappe, do I think he would work as hard as Isak? No, he wouldn't.
No. You can't use Mbappe because Mbappe is a weird type of player where you sometimes.
Okay, Vinicius, I don't think he would work as hard.
He's the fucking same as well, though.
Yeah, but that's a Galactico signing, though. Like that's
but you have to use players. No, you can't do this, man. You can't use true players that are well known for throwing strops.
If Isak won 3 league titles at Newcastle and moved to Liverpool, I would agree with what Terry's saying. I'm saying because these players have no Champions Leagues, have no Premier League titles to show for it, they will work hard for the team because they want to win.
But by the way, I agree with you. I didn't say it. I gave an alternative view of how it could go wrong. I didn't say that's why it will go wrong. When you I want to specify what I'm being accused of here. It's coming out of your mouth. I think you'll do very well. Performances will get better. It'll be interesting to revisit this conversation in the next international break if the performances don't start to get better, because the first 3 weren't very good. That'll be interesting. That being said, what
Arsenal was good in my opinion.
Okay, defensively, very, very good. Let's go to a few more super chats here. This says, I don't give a F about being salty. Will your team end up like 21-22 season? Boss Husam.
Great point here by AMT. But here's the thing. You see LB? Look at LB's face. He hates football. He's going to start watching NBA this season. You want to know who stopped the quadruple charge team? Pep fucking Guardiola. Ancelotti's Real Madrid. Who's my competition now? Who? Stoke City and depressed Pep.
Can I ask you a question? You saying it's your title to lose, etc. You've also said if City or Arsenal win it's because you've done a bad job. Would you sack Slot for not scoring this open goal?
No, because he's won already. So people will always we will give Slot leeway even if he doesn't win this league title.
What if let me paint a hypothetical? What if he wins no trophies after spending all this money? Then would you sack him?
No, he still gets time.
Okay.
He still gets
fine.
time.
It's fair answer. Just wondering
because he won a league title with just Chiesa. Okay, this is what's gonna happen. This is exactly what's gonna happen. Let's say Terry's scenario happens. his hypothetical, it happens, right? Let's say Liverpool end the season without winning a single thing. At the end of the season,
Not my scenario. It's a question.
I'm saying, I said you're hypothetical, relax. So I said at the end of the season, let's say Liverpool win nothing. The reason why people won't ask for Slot to be sacked is because they're going to go like, okay, we signed 5-6 new players. We're going to give him time, etc. because he's won already. That's it.
Okay. Every time I hear the trash about Stoke football, it's clear football IQ is incredibly low.
Is this guy Wayne a Chelsea fan or
no, Arsenal fan?
But the thing is, is I just hear coping mechanism, bro, from Wayne. Yeah, and a shield that he's putting up and not willing to peek over and see what's going on. Yeah, the facts are the facts. Arteta's won nothing in 5 years. Yeah, and he plays this negative brand of football, which hasn't won anything in the last couple of years, and he's not changing. In fact, you could argue it's getting worse. Yeah, I see nothing from Arsenal so far this season to suggest that it's going to go anything different than the last few years. Nothing at all. They're still so negative. Yeah, and the thing is as well, which is mad, is because I actually think Arsenal have the best defense in the Premier League. I actually think it might be the best defense in Europe, right? Why not trust that defense a little bit more and open up a little bit more and attack teams a little bit more and take games to opposition a little bit? He doesn't do it, man.
Do you think they'll beat Nottingham Forest this weekend with Ange as the new manager?
I think they will. Listen, Arsenal are a good football team, but they're not an excellent football team, as proven by the lack of trophies. Yeah, they're a good team. So I'm not going to sit here and start saying they're going to lose every single game. They'll probably beat Forest 2-0 or something, yeah? But at the end of the season, do I think they'll have a trophy in their hands? No, I don't. No, I don't, because I think the manager is negative. He's negative.
I agree.
He doesn't want to risk losing to get the 3 points. Yeah, and that's the facts.
Harry Amasis is just saying one of your 3 languages is straight bullshit. That's actually quite funny. It's on Rat 14. If Sweden miss out on the World Cup, he cost us 6 points. Who's Rat 14?
Iniesta's also a Newcastle fan, so his opinion doesn't really count, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Like
by your logic, Mbappe hadn't won La Liga. Sorry. By your logic, Mbappe hadn't won La Liga and the Champions League before joining, so that means he's not a Galactico signing. Same way Wirtz and Isak haven't won the Premier League and Champions League.
I've explained the difference already. I've literally explained it as
it's a horrific. What you're saying is complete nonsense, though, Husam.
No, it's not nonsense at all, because hunger is part of it. Okay, there's a difference between Madrid signing David Beckham, who's won everything there is to win in football, versus them signing Rodrigo from Brazil. It's different. That's my point. That's my logic about this whole conversation.
You're wrong.
When a player has won everything, they come with a certain ego. Yes, Isak has an ego, but Isak's ego is not an ego of, I've won everything in football, I've done everything I want to do. That's not the type of ego we're talking about. We're talking about a player with no Premier League title. As a matter of fact, with no title in any league and with no UCL. So that hunger to win those trophies will drive him. I already spoke about Mbappe's hunger in the Champions League. He plays a bit more hungry. And also, you completely forgot the fact that Mbappe has a World Cup, mate, which is bigger than anything we've spoken about.
Wayne here says that's pure, unadulterated ignorance. Is what
ignorance is ignoring what LB said, because everything LB said is facts.
Ignorance, is looking at the fact that your club's not won anything in 5 to 6 years and just defending everything that's going on without even having the conversation. That's ignorance.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Also, by the way, this 3 games this season, you played like ass against Liverpool, you played like ass against Man United, you beat Leeds comprehensively. Well done. And how's that? So how's that ignorance? Man United were literally better than you. We were better than you. And then you look at the Leeds game. Fairs, you beat Leeds. Congratulations. But then other than that game, you haven't had one convincing performance.
That negative team beat City 5-1 last year.
That's what Arsenal fans do. They bring this sort of stuff up. Congratulations. Another trophy for you guys.
Everyone beat City last year.
How many trophies did we win last year?
Everyone beat City last year.
How many trophies did Man City win last year?
None.
Oh, you're asking us? None.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
None.
thought you were
Okay.
talking to the audience.
I thought it was
No. I can't just sit here and wait for the chat to respond. No, we won 0 trophies.
No,
Yeah,
I thought it was
thanks for the delay.
rhetorical. And I thought you were going to keep
No,
talking.
I was waiting for the response, bro. You just killed the vibe.
No, because you just
Sorry,
sat
bro.
there and you
Sorry,
stared.
G.
Like I
Sorry,
thought
my
it was
G.
a
Man,
rhetorical.
show, man. I'm doing a show with Terry and Husam. You're meant to respond, but ask you guys a question. I'm not speaking to the chat.
I thought you
Anyway, basically, we won the same amount of trophies as Arsenal. Nice one.
There we go. Nick here says, LB, that was Callous. That's players signing comments about Man United. Terry accepting that crafty banter is class. Do you know what it is, Nick? I just don't always respond. Because at the end of the day, the one thing I know about these two gentlemen, I love them both dearly, is that my football club has left them with lifelong scars because they got scarred as children and it will never leave them. For me, it's what's happening now is horrible, but I'm a fully formed adult. My frontal lobe is fully formed. The scars don't hurt the same way. So I get I get how they feel about my club. It's quite cute.
What did I say, by the way? I can't even know what I said.
You both just digged out that Mbumo and Cunha wouldn't say they win trophies, but
no, but that is facts, though, isn't it? That is facts.
That is facts. I can lie to you.
Well, hang on a minute. We've won more trophies in the last 2 years than most teams in England.
No. But the comment was made because Isak went to Liverpool and said, "I want to win everything." Which is fair because if Mbeumo sits there in his Man United interview and says, "I want to win all the trophies," everyone's going to start laughing at him.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Insane aura, by the way.
That's why during you're doing the Arsenal thing as well, talking about aura. No, that's why during Arsene Wenger's heyday at Arsenal, to me, David Dein is the godfather. Very important roles in the teams. Pep is a Prem Mount Rushmore, but should have left. Oh,
too early.
Yeah, I think that's a bit too early right now. Unpopular opinion: Pep kills wingers, Flair, etc. Foden is the new Grealish.
Foden, what? Are people so desperate just to cook Pep that they just throw these things out? He literally won PFA Player of the Year 2 years ago.
This how social media is. I called this out earlier on today because I got ChatGTP to do it for me on a video I did. Because you know where people talk about KDB got this a lot, Trent got this. We can all probably unite on this because Bruno's had it, Trent's had it, KDB's got it. Corners aren't real assists. Crossing the ball from set pieces isn't a skill. It's just spamming the ball into a dangerous area. It's not an asset. I did the same thing with dribbling. I got ChatGTP to describe why it isn't very good. And if you said it, if us three just said what ChatGTP said over and over and over and over again, it's like convincing young, impressionable people online to say the same thing. You could eventually convince people it wasn't that important part of football. That's what happens a lot, man. People just say stuff for the sake of it. The worst bit is the overlap and Sky and all these guys, they keep perpetuating it. They keep perpetuating the damn fucking thing. But there we go. Big up to the panel. Very entertaining content. I appreciate that. Look, I want to thank everybody that's tuned into the show today. It means a great deal to us that you here so long. Do me a favor and hit the like button before you go. Make sure you're subscribing. Go check out It's LB. That's LB's channel. Go and subscribe to that right now. This is going to redirect you to Husam's channel. So go and support my brother's show that's going live. I might be live later tonight. I might not be. Just there ain't a lot going on at the minute. And there's one video I want to do before the Prem starts, but I'm either going to do it today or tomorrow. I haven't decided yet. So maybe I'm back live later. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again. Very, very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.